Good afternoon, Packers fans. We have a late breaking update on the Jaire Alexander saga. Happy to say that it is officially over. Jaire Alexander has been signed by the Baltimore Ravens per Lamar Jackson's specific request, where he tweeted yesterday that the Ravens should sign Jaire Alexander. And imagine that. Today it was announced that Jaire Alexander was signed by the Ravens. According to Adam Scheffler, it's a 1-year deal worth $6 million, including $2 million in incentives, according to ESPN's Adam Scheffler. So, key words there is the $6 million includes incentives. Now, we don't know what the incentives are, but given Jaire Alexander's injury history, it's pretty likely that this is incentives based on playing time. So you probably have weekly incentives if he actually is active for the game. This is pretty significant. I don't know where Jaire is going to fit in the pecking order for the Ravens. They already have two very established cornerbacks, and he traditionally plays outside corner. So I don't know if they're going to move one of their other existing corners into the nickel to make Jaire a starter, or whether they're going to try to put Jaire Alexander into the nickel, or he's going to be a depth option. Probably has to do with his health and how he looks in training camp. But this is interesting news. We heard from several sources this past week that this is actually significantly less than what the Green Bay Packers offered as a restructured contract. So those of you that were wondering if Green Bay was crazy about letting Jaire go, I would say the market for Jaire was pretty limited, given the fact that he was only able to get a $6 million deal, including incentives. So to get to that $6 million, he has to reach those incentives. So this is a significantly lower paycheck than he was going to get with the Green Bay Packers, even with a restructured agreement. So that kind of tells you the market for Jaire Alexander. And the fact that Lamar Jackson basically had to go on Twitter and pressure the Ravens into signing him is a whole other story. Lamar Jackson has been very vocal lately about what he thinks the team should do with personnel. As you saw here, where he basically requested that they sign Jaire. And he also came out, I believe it was yesterday, and said, I just want to be the highest paid player in the NFL, but I don't want to talk about negotiations. Well, sounds like you talked about negotiations in public, Lamar. So on the one hand, we see Jaire clearly showing, or Lamar showing the ability to pressure his team to sign Jaire Alexander. But I think the bigger picture here is I think the Baltimore Ravens have a big problem with Lamar Jackson. I feel like he feels like he's bigger than the team at this point. He's been very vocal about what the team should do from personnel with regard to personnel. And he came out yesterday and basically said, just make me the highest paid player, but I don't want to talk about negotiations, but just make me the highest paid player. Like, that just blows up any ability for the team to have private conversations with Lamar Jackson. So while we saw Jaire land in Baltimore, I think this is a symptom of a much bigger problem for the Baltimore Ravens and their star quarterback. And don't get me wrong, I think Lamar Jackson is a generational talent. But at some point, you kind of have to get your players under control and say, look, you need to handle this stuff privately. You want us to sign a player? Talk to us privately. You want us to give you a pay raise? Let's have the agent and the GM talk about it privately. But it seems like Lamar Jackson is taking the path of least resistance and just going out in public and telling the public what he wants, which is very concerning. So that's it for this update on Jaire Alexander. We could say this thing is closed. We no longer have to worry about, well, maybe he'll come back, or let's see if he lands up with the Vikings or the Lions. So I'm actually very excited he didn't end up in the NFC North or even in the NFC. It would not surprise me, and this is probably a far too early prediction, if we saw the Green Bay Packers and the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl with with Jaire Alexander starting for the Ravens. Wouldn't that be a spicy line for the Super Bowl? So we'll see what happens here. As always, give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you with the next video. As always, go Pack Go.